Okay, I think we live. I think we live. We live. Greetings, 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 greetings. I think we have audio. All right, guys. We about to set this off. I'm gonna give you guys some time to get into this live feed. All right. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me know if you guys can hear me. All right. I need audio check on that. Audio check. Audio check. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Greetings, Polito, Oseo. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's doing good. Let me know if audio is good. Let me know if audio is good. Hold some love and light, family. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Everything is good. Everything is good. Let me know. All right. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. All right. We got enough kakalaka in the house, man. First of all, I just want to say that, okay, loud and clear. We good. We good. We good. All right. So, while we giving people some time to tune in, man, let me just take some time to, honor the Great Spirit, acknowledge the Great Spirit, give thanks and praise, what I'm saying, to the Most High. Because without the Most High, none of this is possible. You feel me? That breath of life, okay, that spirit that we got within us. We have to learn to acknowledge that a little more and learn to move more through the spirit. You feel me? So, but today we got a great build as usual. We're gonna go over a few things, and before we do, of course, we like to give our honors. You know what I mean? And we honor our ancestors. You say, it's a saying. Nobody had to teach us that. Honor our mothers and fathers so that our days could be longer. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you, it's a lot going on right now. Okay, a lot is going on, and I tell folks, man, we're living in such a beautiful time because we have a lot of tools. Okay, we have a lot of tools at our disposal, and we could use that to our advantage, or it could be used against us. You know what I mean? So we have the internet, we have social media. Let us use those things to our advantage. I see too many people using social media to still play the games, posting the BS, and promoting the BS. I ain't got time for that. All right. If I ain't got nothing to talk about that's gonna uplift the people, then I'm not gonna do a video. I'm not gonna go on social media and post anything. You feel me? Because we have to always stay in a constant forward motion. Okay, we can't go back, man. We can't go back. We got to keep moving forward. All right. So I'm gonna go over Indigenous people's rights. I'm gonna break down. I've done that before in the past. For some reason, the video is not there anymore. So I'm gonna do it again. But I'm gonna break down Undrip, and I'm gonna break down House Resolution 331. I got the links below the video. For those of you who want to support the channel, the super chat is there. Also, my Cash App is below. So if you feel like, supporting for the work, then that's great. All right. Either way, I'm going to keep on, dropping that information. You feel me? But I think it's very important that we learn the information. I'm going to tell you a couple of reasons why. Okay. When we go through these declarations and we go through the resolutions, then you'll realize why the system has to keep you Black and African American. Okay, because we have gone over this a million times, so I'm not gonna beat a dead horse with that. Okay, but let me just digress a little bit and let you know that when you constantly calling yourself Black and African American, you have no rights. Okay, and the only way for them to have authority over you is for them to put you in a dead status. Okay, now what I've realized is this. It's okay for everybody else and anybody else to be indigenous, but as soon as we start declaring who we are, because we are the original people of the Americas, they're gonna put us in categories, and it's happening all across the country. Okay, all our people that look like us, dark-skinned people, brown-skinned people, light-skinned people, okay, who are considered Black or African American, because we are declaring who we are. Okay, we have a right to self-identify, and because we are doing that, they have names for us. You know, they're going to call us terrorists. They're going to say we anti-government. So you have to be mindful of that, because for you to be able to have the knowledge, okay, to free your mind, that is not in their best interest. Okay, that is not in their best interest. So family, you have to realize economically, okay, economically and politically, it's in their best interest to keep you Black and African American. Okay, and all the so-called leaders that you have, believe me, they know the truth. Okay, but they are playing the games. They are playing the games. And all your celebrities that you look up to, okay, they know the truth. But what you have to realize is this. This is all about classism, okay, about different levels of putting people in categories in terms of a class. Okay, you have the A-class citizens, which is first-class citizens. You have second-class citizens, and you have people that just don't even count. Okay, I mean, of course, we seem to be getting the brunt of, you know, the genocide and the unjust. Okay, we are getting the most out of it, but there are also Caucasians who are going through the same thing. All right, they call them the white trailer park. You know what I'm saying? White trash. You know, let me tell y'all something, man. Let us just get real here for a second, like I always do. Okay, I tell folks, this thing right here has nothing to do with color. Okay, don't get caught up in the color game. It is being perpetuated that way, but this is all about the have and the have-nots, okay? The slaves and the slave master. That's what this is about, okay? That's what this is about. And the system, okay? The system hate when you free your mind. They hate it. Let me tell you something. They fear a brother or a sister that's awakened mentally than they fear a brother and a sister or a sister with a gun. I'm going to repeat that. Okay? The system fears a brother or a sister, a so-called Black man and a so-called Black woman that's aware, that's awake, okay, who's intelligent, who stand up for their right, that know who they are. They fear that, opposed to a brother or a sister with a gun. Because you see, when you have a gun, they could shoot you down in the streets and use that as an excuse. Okay? So that's what they want you to do. They want you to come with the guns. They want you to come with the knives. Because now they're going to justify their motives, okay, for killing you in the streets like an animal. You feel me? So I'm saying all this to say, don't think that we are actually at war. We've been at war, whether you want to admit it or not. That's the truth. Okay? We are prisoners of war in our own land. Okay? Now, when you talk like that, you see, they don't like to hear the truth. They don't like to hear the truth because they want people to be dumb, stupid, okay? Just follow everything that they want you to believe. Because they don't want to free you up. They don't want to do that. Because like I said, it's not economically, it's not going to work for them. Okay? So they want you to remain stupid. They want you to remain, you know, believing in the dogmatic, the religions. Okay? Like I said before, every religion got a different God. And I'm using that word God very lightly, but there's only one devil. That poor devil. Ain't that something? Right? But the truth of the matter is this, right? Let us put this in perspective, okay? Once you start talking this reckless talk, and I tell people like this cannot be a physical fight, okay? It cannot be a physical fight. It is not going to be a physical fight because the oppressor understands treachery, okay? The oppressor understands war. The oppressor understands what it means to go around the world and kill indigenous people. They know that very well. They have the guns. They have the tanks, okay? They got the chemical warfare. They got it down pat. So we cannot step into this believing we could fight a physical fight, okay? Trust me, even before you get into the fight, you're going to lose. It has to be a spiritual fight, okay? This is how we are going to win, okay? Turning that into a spiritual fight, using your mind, freeing your mind, okay? That's how we are going to win this, okay? Use your intelligence, outwit them, okay? That's what it's about, because that's how they are beating us. They are beating us with this. The guns and the knives and the tanks is all an illusion. It's all an illusion. So I'm saying all that to say is, let us start using our minds, because once here we are, okay, going into different courts and going into the county clerks and filing our papers. They don't want us to file our papers because they don't want us to be free. You feel me? And when people talk like me, they say, oh, we terrorists, we anti-government. Well, guess what? I'm making a declaration today, okay? This is my disclaimer. I am not anti-government. I don't speak anti-government, okay? Because how can I be anti-government? Or how can, for me, I can only speak for myself. How can, if you were to label me as anti-government, how can I be anti-government if I'm talking about a government-to-government relationship? Okay? But you see, they always have to find ways to turn you into an enemy. And that's what they do best. You feel me? So we have to stay focused. We got to stay vigilant. We got to stay strong. All right? And how are you going to do that? You learn the information. So today we're going to talk about rights. Okay, rights of the people. We are the people. Because once you start labeling yourself anything other than the people, then you lost your rights. Okay? So stop, please. Stop being black. Stop being African American. Okay? You better off saying, I'm the people. We the people. You have more power because the people, we are their bosses. They are public servants and we are the public. Therefore, they work for us. Okay? So we're going to talk about a few of our rights today. And I really want to take my time and go over this because it's important that our children know their rights and know how to articulate their rights. Okay? So I'm going to get into Undrip, like I said, House of Congress Resolution 331. We're going to go over that. And we're going to talk about our creator-given rights. Okay? So this is what we're going to do. First things first, let us talk about our creator-given rights because that is the utmost, that is the position that we need to hold, okay, over anything. All right? Over anything. No man is supposed to rule over any other man. Okay, that goes against the laws of nature. That is not natural law. That is not common law. But brothers and sisters, they have taken the common law process, okay, and they have turned it into a statutory system, a municipal system, an administrative system, where everything has to be dealt with in a commercial aspect, okay? So they have taken away the common law system and they're preventing us from accessing the common law court. Because once you identify yourself as a man or a woman, they cannot bring any claims against you because a corporation cannot bring a claim against a man or a woman. Okay? That is not law. However, they made you a legal person, which is the same thing as a corporation, which is the same thing as a legal entity. Therefore, you could sue and be sued. Okay? But in common law, in natural law, a crime is only committed when you harm someone or you damage somebody's property. You feel me? But they don't want us speaking the truth. because they want to keep you enslaved. They want to keep your mind enslaved. That's what it is. We have no reason to be afraid, because like I told y'all before, there's no such thing as death. You see, they rule by fear. Their God tell you, if you don't obey me, you're going to go to hell. Their government say, if you don't obey, you're going to go to jail. Their schools say, if you don't study and obey, then you're going to fail. Everything has to deal with fear. Okay? How can we love when we live in our life in fear? And that's what they are promoting. So today, let us talk about some rights, okay? As we know that the Creator gave us free will. The Creator gave us free will. And I always tell people we as a people, and I'm talking about every ethnic group, we have forgotten the basic fundamental, one of the basic fundamental laws of the universe is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We have forgotten that, okay? People, you have one group of people who feel like they could just do what they want, okay, to other groups of people, and it's okay. And don't expect, the people who are being oppressed, don't expect the people who are being killed in the streets every day, don't expect the people who are going to jail, okay, by the truckload, don't expect them to one day say, man, enough is enough. And when you stand up and speak for yourself, when you stand up and show a level of, intelligence, then all of a sudden they want to paint you as a terrorist. This has to stop. It has to stop. And the only people that could stop it is us, okay? You are suffering because you are allowing it to happen. And that is the true meaning of suffering, or to suffer. That's what it means, okay? To suffer, go look at the etymology of the word suffer. It means that you are going through some type of pain, okay, by your own free will, because you choose not to do anything about it. That is what suffer really means. And our people are suffering because they are allowing it. Didn't they say that God helped those who help themselves? So how long are we going to sit and just pray and live our lives, hoping, through faith that somebody's going to come save us? Nobody's coming to save us. Okay? Nobody's coming to save us. And I could prove that, because if you're hungry, I could take a plate of food, your favorite food. I could take my time and cook it for you. The best seasonings, right? And I could put it right in front of you. Okay? A gourmet meal with all the beautiful and the flavor and the seasonings, and put a knife and a fork with a spoon and give you your best homemade juice. Guess what? If you don't pick up that fork, you're not going to eat. Okay? You're not going to eat. So what does that tell you? You have to get up and help yourself at some point. Okay? They're not going to free us. No, they're not going to do it, because it is not in their best interests. Okay? It is not in their best interests. You feel me? Yeah, I know they you trust me, even on my end, when I first started, when I first turned on the computer to do the live, right? Guess what? I was getting some hiccups as well. But it's all right though. They can't stop this from happening. We're gonna move forward. So I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna get into this build. All right? We're gonna get into this build. Okay. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is Undrip. Okay? Undrip, United Nations Declarations on the Rights of Indigenous People. All right. Now, when we look at the term, okay, indigenous is a very broad term, and all it means is that you are indigenous once you have been on a landmass before colonization. Okay, essentially that's what indigenous means. So therefore, a lot of people could fall under the umbrella of being indigenous. So for me, I would tell each and every one of you, okay, let us stop focusing on the color of one's skin. All right. We already know that there are people, okay, who are put in place to usurp our identity, our culture, all right, our land. We already know that. You feel me? But history in itself, okay, is so entangled with so many different ethnic groups. Let us just focus on us. All right? Let us focus on us. We spend too much time worried about everybody else. Let us get our affairs in order. It is time for us to unite. Let us kind of like fall back from all our differences. You see, that's how it was easy to infiltrate us, because we spend too much time fighting each other, putting down each other, not looking out for each other. We have to change that mindset, okay? I don't care how much reparations you think you might get. If you haven't changed your mindset, okay, you would still be a slave, because too many of us are chasing that fiat currency, and that is what's causing the division between us. We are allowing this fake money. It's not even money. This fake piece of paper, okay? We are allowing that to come between us. And this is a great divide amongst our people. All right? So let us talk about rights of indigenous people, because we are indigenous. Don't let them make you think otherwise. Okay? A young brother, had a situation, where they said he got caught with marijuana and paraphernalia. Okay, like I've told you guys before, I don't know what marijuana is. Okay, marijuana is, I don't smoke. Okay, I don't drink. But for those of you who smoke, I always tell people marijuana is a patent word. Okay, so you don't get arrested or go to jail for smoking herb. You go to jail for smoking a patent word without a license or permission. Okay? But plants and herbs have been on this landmass called America way before colonization. Okay? And those herbs, we use them for medicinal purposes. Okay? To remedy the body, and sometimes for meditation. So the brother got caught in a situation, and he reached out to me, for counseling. And of course, I counsel him. He looked at he looked at me as an elder, because I'm his elder. I'm older than he is, and I give him some counseling. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. However, I know law and I know my rights. You feel me? So therefore, I just shared some documents with him, and then he went to court and he stood his ground. And when he said he was indigenous, he's an American Indian, the judge told him what? The judge said, if you say that you're an American Indian one more time, okay, we are going to hold you for perjury. Now, why is that? Because when he asked the judge, what do you have my nationality as in the system? Do you have me as African American? The judge said no. Do you have me as black? The judge said yes. So then he had a black shirt on. So he asked the judge, what color is my shirt? The judge started laughing. Okay? But you see, they play these games. They are playing these games with our lives. They think it's a big joke. So the judge started to laugh. So he was like, Your Honor, I am serious. This is my life. My safety is being threatened. What color is my shirt? The judge said black. So he asked the judge, am I black? And the judge kept laughing again. So he said, I'm not black. I'm brown. I am copper tone. Okay? I am indigenous. I'm an Indian. And he actually texted me while he was in court. I told him, you know what? Go ahead and say it again. If they're going to put you in jail for being who you are, then that's fine. Okay? That's fine. Because, you know, I would rather lose this physical life being free mentally, knowing who I am, than staying alive and walking around here, okay, as a slave to colonizers who came and colonized my land, who murdered my ancestors, who raped my ancestors, who pillaged our land, sodomized our young men. I'm not going to be subjected to any criminals, but they want to call us criminals. The audacity. But anyway, let us get into the indigenous rights. And every time I speak, you see, I want this to be personal. Okay, I want this to be personal. I want you to personalize this, this video. I want you to personalize the declaration. I want you to personalize the resolution. Now, I'm saying that to say, and let me just make a disclaimer real quick. That's why I started off saying that we have rights given to us by our Creator, and no man could take it because our Creator gave us free will. So with that being said, the indigenous rights of indigenous people, okay, is not limited to that charter only. Our rights are not limited to Undrip only. Our rights are not limited to House of Congress Resolution 331. Our rights are not limited to the rights, okay, and privileges that any man gives us, okay? Our Creator gave us our rights, and nobody should take that away from us. And we have to stand firm on that, okay? So here we go. United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. Now, this was adopted by the United States in 2007. A little history on, the declaration, okay? This is something that has been, put into motion for many, 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 many years, okay? And, it was just, where we, the indigenous people, became tired, okay? We got tired of our rights being violated. We got tired of our women being abused. We got tired of our girls, our young children, being victims to sex trafficking and violence. Okay, so indigenous people came together and we wanted a declaration so that nations could respect us as a distinct people. Okay, as the original people of these lands. So the United States was actually one of the entities that didn't honor Undrip. Okay, they didn't honor Undrip until Obama came into office and he adopted it. Okay, not that I'm giving Obama any kudos, but because he ain't do nothing for us. That's just my opinion. Okay, but anyway, he adopted Undrip, and so this declaration, all the states, okay, within the United States, they agreed, okay, to honor this charter because they are all underneath the UN. Okay, they don't want you to know that, but they are all underneath the UN. You feel me? So they have to honor indigenous people's rights because it's in that declaration. You feel me? Now, part of every state job, I'm talking about the governor, okay, the attorney general, the secretary of state, part of their job is to make sure that indigenous people know their rights, that the declarations are implemented, that the declarations are supported. But my question to you is this: how many of y'all actually heard of Undrip through your governor or through your senators? None of them are actually talking about it because they don't want indigenous people to know that we have rights, okay, that supersedes their administrative codes. Okay, one thing you have to be aware of is this: tribal law supersedes statutes and codes. So that's why they will not promote it, because it is not in their best interest. You see, with statutes and codes, they get to make money. With statutes and codes, they get to violate your rights because you're living by their codes. You feel me? But when you declare who you are as being indigenous, now it becomes international. Now they are dealing with human rights, okay, opposed to chattel rights. So this is very serious. And too many of us are walking around still playing the games and being distracted. Okay? Because you see, it's easier to make an example from one individual, from two individuals. But if we come together as a collective, every other ethnic group has a collective. The Asians, they have a collective. Even if do you really think that the Chinese and the Japanese and the Koreans, they get along? Or even Caucasians, because Caucasians are also Asians. Hence the term or the word Caucasians. They're all Asians. Do you think they really like each other? No, they don't. Okay? But they know how to unite when it comes to standing against anybody that's not them. We are the only ones that refuse to unite as a collective. It doesn't matter where you go around this country, okay? There's a Chinatown, okay? Arabs got the gas stations. Arabs got the corner stores. Every other ethnic group knows what it means to come together as a collective, whether it may be for political reasons, whether it may be for spiritual reasons, whether it may be for economical reasons. Because we are so busy, you know, dealing with the crab in the barrel mentality. Oh, I cannot support him. Oh, I cannot support her. She, you know, her shirt might look a little better than mine. I'm telling you, man, we got a lot of work to do. We have become a people, all right, where we are chasing too many materialistic things. And that was our downfall, okay? We fell for the trinkets. We are and we were the most natured people on this planet. We are the soul children. We gave the world soul. And we lost that because we became too materialistic. Okay? They turn our women against our men. They turn our men against our women. Now our children don't respect their mothers. Our children are looking for direction. If the parents don't know the information, then what hope do our children have? So we got to take the time and teach that information. Okay? I don't care if it's one indigenous man or woman that I impact. I don't care if it's one child. Okay? I mean, I have, you know, 5-year-olds telling me, Chief, I'm your biggest fan. Chief, you're my idol. So this is very important to me. Okay? Now, like I always tell folks, okay, if that's the way I got to live this earth, by standing up for what's right, then you know what? Let me go out that way. Let me go out that way. Okay? And that's it. I'm going to stand on the truth and I'm going to keep speaking the truth. So we're not going to read everything, but I'm just going to read a little bit of the introduction. Okay? United Nations Declarations on the Rights of Indigenous People. Now, all that stuff is in the link below. It's actually on our website, but it's in the link below. Teach your children about these declarations. Teach your children about their rights. Okay? So we're going to spend a couple of hours. All right? I hope you got your pen. You could take notes. And let's make this happen. Okay? Resolution adopted by the General Assembly without reference to a main committee. All right? We have 61/295 United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. The General Assembly, taking note of the recommendation of the Human Rights Council contained in its resolution 1-2 of 29 June 2006, by which the Council adopted the text of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. Now, like I said, we're not going to read everything, okay? So we're just going to go straight to the articles, okay? But I'm going to let me read a little bit of that. Let me just read a little bit of that. Affirming also that all peoples, let me make that a little bigger, okay? So, okay. Affirming also that all peoples contribute to the diversity and richness of civilization and cultures which constitute common heritage of humankind, okay? Affirming further that all doctrines, policies, and practices based on or advocating superiority of peoples or individuals on the basis of national origin or racial, religious, ethnic, or cultural differences are racist, okay? Scientifically false, legally invalid, morally condemnable, and socially unjust, okay? And that's what's happening to our people right now. We are being judged because of the color of our skin. All right. And even more so, you know what? Let me just kind of like digress a little bit. I don't think this is happening solely because of the texture of our skin or the complexion of our skin. It is happening to us because we have adapted, okay, a status of being dead, which is black or African American. Okay, more so black. I believe that is the main reason why we are dealing with what we are dealing with. A lot of people say, well, hey, chief, it doesn't make a difference. You know, if the police see you in the street, whether you call yourself indigenous or not, they're going to do what they're going to do. No, that's not true. I beg to differ because I've had a different experience and I could only speak for me. Okay, because when I'm in the streets, I have my feathers, I have my indigenous attire, and that is making a statement even before I open my mouth. Okay, so now that's already telling the officer that this one here is not black, this one here is not African American. So there's something different about him. Now, if I don't know, it may be in my best interest to find out. So I'm not going to agree with that statement that it doesn't matter, okay, what you call yourself, they're still going to do what they want to do with you. That's not true. Because believe it or not, there are laws, okay, that they have to abide by. Don't think the world is not watching. Don't think that the world is not watching. The world is not intervening on our behalf because you are dead. But the moment you identify as who you are, as the indigenous people, then it becomes international. Okay? But we need to start coming together as a collective. And I cannot stress that enough. Okay? Reaffirming that indigenous people, now every time I see indigenous, I'm going to say we indigenous peoples. Okay? So because like I said, I want to personalize this. Okay? I want it to be personal. Reaffirming that we indigenous peoples in the exercise of our rights should be free from what? Discrimination of any kind. Now, it didn't say discrimination of some kind. It says discrimination of any kind. Okay? Of any kind. Pay attention to the language. Okay? Of any kind. Now, it says, concerned that we indigenous peoples have suffered from what? Historic injustices as a result of inter alia, okay? And inter alia means and other, all right? Their colonization and disposition of their lands. Yes, of our lands. Our lands were taken away from us. Territories and resources, thus preventing us from exercising, in particular, our right to development in accordance with our own needs and interests. Pay attention to the language. Okay? I'm reading from the top. Recognizing the urgent need to respect and promote the inherent rights of indigenous peoples, which derive from their political, economic, and social structures and from their cultures, spiritual traditions, histories, and philosophies, especially their rights to their lands, territories, and resources. You see, that is our inherent right. It is not a right that the government to give us when they feel like. No, that's an inherent right from the Creator And that's an inherent right that our ancestors passed down to us. Okay? So nobody has the right to take that away from us. And we shouldn't allow anybody to take away our rights. Okay? Now, recognizing the urgent need to respect and promote the rights of indigenous peoples affirmed in treaties, okay, and other constructive arrangements with states, welcoming the fact that indigenous peoples are organizing themselves for political, economic, social, and cultural enhancement, and in order to bring to an end all forms of discrimination and oppression wherever they occur. Okay? Convinced that control by indigenous peoples over developments affecting them and their lands, territories, and resources will enable them to maintain and strengthen their institutions, cultures, and traditions, and to promote their development in accordance with their aspiration and needs. Because you see, we are a distinct people. We know what's in our best interests. Nobody else should be able to tell us what's right for us because they are not us. Okay? We have a right to self-determination. Okay? We have a right to be autonomous as indigenous people. Recognizing that respect for indigenous knowledge, cultures, and traditional practices contributes to the sustainable and equitable development and proper management of the environment. Emphasizing the contribution of the demilitarization of the lands and territories of indigenous peoples to peace, economic and social progress and development, understanding and friendly relations among nations and peoples of the world. Recognizing in particular the right of indigenous families and communities to retain shared responsibility for the upbringing, training, education, and well-being of their children, consistent with the rights of the child. Okay? And we are talking about indigenous rights. Considering that the rights affirmed in treaties, agreements, and other constructive arrangements between states and indigenous peoples are, in some situations, matters of international concern, interest, responsibility, and character. My brothers and sisters, you see what it says? Matters of international concern. But when you call yourself Black and African American, it is not an international concern because that makes you private property. But anytime you start identifying as who we truly are as the indigenous people, then it becomes international. Okay? Let us proceed. Considering also that treaties, agreements, and other constructive arrangements and relationship they represent are the basis for strengthened partnership between indigenous peoples and states. Okay, partnership. We are not supposed to be your chattel. We are not supposed to be your slaves. We are not supposed to be your subjects. Okay, partnership. In other words, a government to government relationship. So don't allow them to call you anti-government when you are actually promoting and advocating, okay, a government to government relationship. How can one be anti-government if you are speaking of a government to government relationship? Because they want to consider us terrorists. Okay? Acknowledging that the Charter of the United Nations, the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, and the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, as well as the Vienna Declaration and Program of Action, affirm the fundamental importance of the right to self-determination of all peoples, by virtue of which they freely determine their political status. You hear that? By which we freely determine our political status. So how can you force me to be Black and African American? That is a violation of international law. That is a violation of the declaration that they signed. It's a treaty. It's an agreement. And if they're not adhering or upholding the declaration, it's a breach. It's a breach. Okay? and they could be sued for that and freely pursue their economic, social, and cultural development, bearing in mind that nothing in this declaration may be used to deny any peoples their right to self-determination. I'm going to read that again. Bearing in mind that nothing in this declaration may be used to deny any peoples their right to self-determination, exercised in conformity with international law. So you cannot force me to have your ID and tell me it's a real ID. If I don't have it, you're going to tell me you could give me a ticket. No, we have a right to self-identify. What does that mean? It means that I could go to Kinko's, okay? I could go to Staples. I could go to a printing company and print my own ID in my indigenous name, and you have to respect it. That's what it means to self-identify, self-determination. Okay? Convinced that the recognition of rights of indigenous peoples in this declaration will enhance harmonious and cooperative relations between the state and indigenous peoples based on principles of justice, democracy, respect for human rights, non-discrimination, and good faith, encouraging states to comply with and effectively implement all their obligations as they apply to indigenous people under international what? Instrument, in particular, those related to human rights in consultation and cooperation with the peoples concerned. Okay, it's an obligation. It's an obligation. It's okay, it's not if they choose to. It's an obligation. You feel me? Emphasizing that the United Nations has an important and continuing role to play in promoting and protecting the rights of indigenous peoples. So my brothers and sisters, how can you be protected if you don't know that you're indigenous, if you're not identifying as indigenous, if you're going around calling yourself Black and African American? This doesn't apply to you. Okay? Then you fall into the realm of statutes and codes. You feel me? So I think I've read enough of that. So let us go straight to Article 1. And that's, again, we are going through Undrip, United Nations Declarations on the Rights of Indigenous People. Okay? Let me just come back here real quick. Let me just let me stop sharing that real quick and just come back to you guys real quick. Make sure everybody's with me. We'll come back and share the screen. Just, hey, is everybody with me? Everybody with me? I know, man, I know it's kind of like the weather is a little messed up, but I hope you guys are seeing the screen and you're able to read the information, and I hope you're hearing me. Yeah, are we good? Are we good to continue? Just real quick, are we good to proceed? Just making sure we're on the same page right now. Are we on the same page, family? Can you guys hear me? Okay, well, I'm gonna assume that you guys could hear me. Like I said, it's raining. It's actually storming in some areas, so maybe that's the reason why. Okay, some of you guys. Okay, good. You guys can hear me. Perfect. All right, so let us proceed. And like I said, brothers and sisters, okay, you know, us standing up, okay, as indigenous people, claiming who we are, okay, that is not a crime. Okay, it is not a crime. Okay, it is not a crime. Don't let them make you think you're breaking the law by self-identifying. Okay, don't let them make you think that you're doing anything wrong. All right, because once again, they want to control us through fear. That's what they want to do. You are imposters in our land, and I'll continue to speak the truth. Now, if you want to remain here, I suggest you start respecting the original people of the land, because there's never going to be peace. Okay, there's not going to be any harmony. Okay, and I'm talking about from a spiritual perspective, if the original people are not restored. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. Okay? It's not going to happen. So let us proceed. I'm gonna share the screen again. All right. Here we are. Share that screen. All right. So let's do this. Share. Oh. Okay. Now my stuff is sticking. Oh man, I'll tell you, man. Okay. Okay, good. There we go. All right, cool. All righty. So we have Article 1. Okay. Indigenous people have the right to full enjoyment as a collective or as individuals of all human rights and fundamental freedoms as recognized in the Charter of the United Nations, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and international human rights. Okay? Once again, brothers and sisters, when you call yourself Black and African American, the declaration doesn't apply to you because you don't have a status of being indigenous or alive. Okay? It means that you are dead. So that means you have no rights. But when we are indigenous, it's not that we are just claiming to be indigenous. We are indigenous. So therefore, the declaration applies to us. Now, someone had a question. I'm trying to create for myself an indigenous Aborigine name. Any suggestions? Well, let us take questions after, but I'll just pause and answer your question real quick. Giving yourself an indigenous title is a spiritual thing. It's kind of like a personal thing. So that's something you would probably have to ask the ancestors to guide you through that. Okay. Seek a little help, from the Great Spirit with that. And once you get the name, what I'm saying, then if anybody knows how to do, any type of spiritual work, then they could let you know about the energy on the name. Like a lot of people, sometimes I assist them, in finding their indigenous name by, of course, after they have gone into meditation or they have gotten part of it, then I could help them maybe add something to it. And then I check the energy on the name to see if it's a positive energy or negative energy, because I do spiritual work. So that's what I do sometimes. All right. So I hope that helps. Okay. So anyway, Article 1, indigenous people have the right to full enjoyment as a collective or as an individual. So therefore, as a group, meaning that as a collective, we have that right, okay, or as an individual, okay, of all human rights and fundamental freedoms as recognized in the Charter of the United Nations, the Universal Declaration on Human Rights, and international human rights law. So this is something that you guys should get familiar with, okay? Undrip, which is what we're going through right now, all right? Then the international human rights law. Make sure y'all look that up. You feel me? All right. Number 2, Article 2. We indigenous peoples and individuals are free and equal to all other peoples and individuals and have the right to be free from what? Any kind of discrimination. It didn't say some kind of discrimination. Any kind of discrimination. In the exercise of our rights, in particular, that based on our indigenous origin or identity. Our indigenous origin or identity. Okay? We should be free from any form of discrimination once we are proclaiming our identity. Article 3. We indigenous peoples have the right to what? Self-determination. Self-determination. By virtue of that right, we freely determine our political status and freely pursue our what? Economic, social, and cultural development. All right? Self-determination. For those of you who don't know what self-determination means, let us go look it up. Okay? We are going to study today. All right? Let's study. Self-determination. Self-determination. What does it mean? Okay. What does self-determination means? The right of a people to self-determination is a cardinal principle in modern international law, binding as such on the United Nations as authoritative interpretation of the charters. Now, which says right here, okay?
Self-determination.
The process by which a country determines its own statehood and forms its own allegiances and government. The process by which a person controls their own life. Okay? So within the declaration, it clearly states that we, the indigenous people, have a right to self-determination. What does it mean again? The process by which a country determines its own statehood. So we have a right to determine our own statehood, form our own government, all right? Our own allegiances and our government. All right? So how can we be anti-government if we want them to acknowledge and have the respect for us from a government to government basis? I mean, that does it again, it's a contradiction. It doesn't make any sense. Okay? The second definition, the process by which a person controls their own life. Self-governance. Okay? Self-governance. Let us proceed. So I'm going to read Article 3 again. We indigenous people have the right to what? Self-determination by virtue of the right. They freely determine their political status and freely pursue their economic, social, and cultural development. Article 4. Indigenous peoples, in exercising their right to self-determination, have the right to what? Autonomy or self-government. Autonomy or self-government in matters relating to their internal and local affairs, as well as ways and means for financing their autonomous functions. Okay? We have a right to be autonomous in our own land. What does it mean to be autonomous? Let us go look at the definition again, because you see, we don't want to leave anything for chance. Let us, if we are going to study and we are going to break down this declaration, let us make sure that each and every one of you have a clear understanding of what it means. Okay, let us get the pronunciation of the word autonomous. Okay, I want you to hear the pronunciation.
Autonomous.
Autonomous. Okay, of a country or region having freedom to what? Govern itself or control its own affairs. We have the right to do that. Okay? We have a right to govern our own affairs, control our own lives. But they will not teach you about Undrip because they don't want you to be autonomous. They want you to be under their control as their subjects, as their chattel, as their property. And when you speak up for your right, all of a sudden you're a terrorist. But who's the real terrorist? Who came into our land and murdered our ancestors? Huh? Who are the ones preventing us from identifying as who we truly are, but yet still we are the terrorists, huh? How ironic. Article number 5. Article number 5. We indigenous people have the right to maintain and strengthen our distinct political, legal, economic, social, and cultural institutions. All right? Where are our cultural institutions? Where are our political institutions? Where is our legal and lawful institutions? Where is our economic institutions? Where are our social institutions? How many of us could say, let me go into my neighborhood and walk into an indigenous community center? Huh? We have every single right to have those things. And don't let them make you think or believe otherwise. Okay? Now I'm going to read Article 5 again. We, the indigenous people, have the right to maintain and strengthen our distinct political, legal, economic, social, and cultural institutions while retaining the right, our right, to participate fully, if we so choose, in the political, economic, social, and cultural life of the state. So what does that mean? It means that we have every single right, okay, to maintain and strengthen our political, legal, economic, social, and cultural institutions. And at the same time, if we so choose, we have the right to participate fully, okay, in the political, economic, social, and cultural life of the state that you reside in. Okay? That is our right. That is our right if we so choose. Article 6. Every indigenous individual has the right to what? A nationality. My brothers and sisters, black is not a nationality. Okay? African American is not a nationality. You feel me? I respect my Moors, but Moorish American is not a nationality. Israelite is not a nationality. Okay? It is not a nationality. Let us go look at the definition of nationality. Because like I said, if we're going to study, let us study and break down this declaration so that we don't make any mistakes. Nationality. What does it say? The status of belonging to what? A particular nation. So let me ask you a question. What nation does black belong to? What nation does African American belong to? Huh? Here's the second definition. An ethnic group forming a part of one or more political nations. Nationality deals with nations. Okay? Nations write treaties. Nations are able to deal with other nations from a government to government basis. Okay? You cannot be dealt with from a government to government basis if you call yourself black or African American. Okay? You're a slave. And once again, may I reiterate, your so-called celebrities and your people in government that keep calling you black and colored and African American, they are selling you out intentionally because they know the truth. But y'all keep supporting these people. What is wrong with my people? Huh? Let us look on the side right here. Nationality in Wikipedia. Nationality is a legal relationship between what? An individual person and what? A state. Okay? A relationship. Let me ask you a question. What is your relationship being black or African American to the state that you live in? You want me to tell you what the relationship is? Let me tell you. The relationship is this. You are hauled to jail. You get tickets. You are shot in the streets. Your children are being miseducated. Okay? Your children could be taken from you anytime. That is the relationship that you have with the state that you live in when you're black or African American. But when you have a nationality, okay, declarations and treaties come into place and they have to respect and honor those declarations and those treaties because now they are obligated to deal with you from a government to government basis, nations. So now we get to sit at the table, okay? So they cannot just get a pen and write an executive order to affect all of our lives. No, we have to be at the table. We have to take part in those decisions that are being made that's affecting our everyday life. That's what it means to be indigenous. Okay? Nationality, the status of belonging to what? A particular nation. What nation does black belong to? For all of you who don't want to give up this foolish pride of calling yourself black or African American. What nation does nigger belong to? Because y'all love to be niggers. Let us proceed. Okay, Article 6. Every indigenous individual has a right to a nationality. So when they're telling you that you cannot change your nationality in their system, you show them Undrip. Show them that they are violating the declaration, they are violating international human rights law, and you could sue them. Y'all better recognize. Article 7:1. We indigenous individuals have the right to what? Life, physical and mental integrity, liberty and security of person. That means you have a right to protect yourself. That's what it means, security of person. Now, I don't want to assume things. Let us go look at the definition of security of person. Like I told y'all before, when I read, I don't read to finish because that's what they taught y'all. I read to start. Okay? I like to take my time and make sure I know what I'm reading. Security of person. In general, the right to the security of one's person is associated with what? Liberty, and includes the right, if one is imprisoned unlawfully, to a remedy such as habeas corpus. Security of person can also be seen as an expansion of rights based on probations of torture and cruelty and unusual punishment. All right? Let us go here and read that. Security of person is a basic entitlement guaranteed, you hear that? Guaranteed by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Okay, brothers and sisters? Security of person right here on the right side. The entitlement is guaranteed by the Universal Declaration on Human Rights. Security of person. But they have taken habeas corpus away from the courts because they want to keep us from, bringing common law into those courts. All right. Number 2, Article 7, number 2. We indigenous people have the collective right to live in freedom, peace, and security as what? A distinct people, and shall not be what? Subjected to any act of genocide or any other act of violence, including forcibly removing children of the group to another group. So you see, when you're Black, when you're African American, ACS, CPS, child care services, they could come take your children. Okay? When you are exercising your right as an indigenous man or woman, they cannot come into your home and take your children, because that violates the Declaration and that violates human rights. Okay, so you see why they're not promoting the Declaration, because they don't want you to know the rights that you have. Okay. Oh, I know about Undrip as well. I got that. Okay, but I'm going through one declaration at a time. Okay, I got the information. You feel me? All right, that's on the website. Article number 8:1. We indigenous peoples and individuals have the right not to be subjected to forced what? Assimilation or destruction of our culture. Forced assimilation. What does assimilation mean? Let us break this down. I know what it means, but let's go look at the definition of assimilation. Okay? Okay? Assimilation, the process of taking in and fully understanding information or ideas, the absorption or digestion of, well, okay, that's let me see. Look at something. Let us look at cultural assimilation. That's more like it. Cultural assimilation is the process in which a minority group or culture comes to reassemble or dominant group, or assume the values, behaviors, and beliefs of another group. So they cannot force us to assimilate, okay? In other words, to force us to their culture and their ideas. All right? At the end of the day, we got to start somewhere, okay? Declarations may not be binding, but we got to start somewhere. Okay, we got to start somewhere. All right? We got to make it work. We have to make it work. Okay? We have to make it work, family. We have to make it work. Number 2, states shall provide effective mechanisms for prevention of and redress for any action which has the aim or effect of depriving Indigenous people of our integrity as distinct people, or of our cultural values or ethnic identities. All right. B, any action which has the aim or effect of disposing them of their lands, of our lands, territories, or resources. C, any form of forced population transfer which has the aim or effect of violating or undermining any of our rights. D, any form of forced assimilation or integration. E, any form of propaganda designed to promote or incite racial or ethnic discrimination directed against us. All right. And let me just pause here for a second. Okay. In as much as some may say, which is true to a certain extent, that the declarations are not legally binding, but at the ending of the day, it is a step in the right direction. Okay. It is a step to bring us at the table so that we could start changing some of those things to make sure that it's legally and lawfully binding. We got to start somewhere, because when you call yourself Black or African American, you are not in the picture, period. You cannot even come to the table. Okay. So as the Indigenous people, we have to start somewhere. And if we have to form our own declaration, then make an attempt to pass it through legislation, then that's what we have to do. But my thing is, we have to start somewhere. Okay. We have to start somewhere. And I think that is a great way to start. All right. So I would just say that this, to me, is a great start. Okay. Article number 9. We Indigenous peoples and individuals have the right to belong to an indigenous community or nation. You hear that? We have a right to belong to an indigenous community or a nation in accordance with the traditions and customs of the community or nation concerned. No discrimination of any kind may arise from the exercise of such right. Article 10. We, the Indigenous people, shall not be forcibly removed from our lands or territories. No relocation shall take place without the free, prior, and informed consent of we, the Indigenous peoples concerned, and after agreement on just and fair compensation, and where possible, with the option of return. Okay? So, well, once again, like I said, we have to look at all those treaties. Okay, we have to look at all those declarations, and they have been effective for me. Okay, so I'm just sharing, a lot of the stuff that, hey, that I've personally used, okay, and they have been effective. All right, but there are a lot more tools that we need to learn. All right, so like I said, I'm just playing my part. Okay, if you have something to share, please share. But we got to move forward. Okay. Article 11. 1. We, the Indigenous people, have the right to practice and revitalize our cultural traditions and customs. This includes the right to maintain, protect, and develop the past, present, and future manifestations of our cultures, such as archaeological and historical sites, artifacts, designs, ceremonies, technologies, and visual and performing arts and literature. Number 2. States shall provide redress through effective mechanisms which may include restitution developed in conjunction with we, the Indigenous peoples, with respect to our cultural, intellectual, religious, and spiritual property taken without our free, prior, and informed consent, or in violation of our laws, traditions, and customs. All right? Article 12. 1. We, the Indigenous people, have the right to manifest, practice, develop, and teach our spiritual and religious traditions, customs, and ceremonies, the right to maintain, protect, and have access in privacy to our religious and cultural sites, the right to the use and control of our ceremonial objects, and the right to repatriation of our human remains. Number 2. States shall seek to enable the access and or repatriation of ceremonial objects and human remains in the possession through fair, transparent, and effective mechanisms developed in the conjunction with indigenous peoples concerned. Article 13. 1. We, the indigenous peoples, have the right to revitalize, use, develop, and transmit to future generations our histories, languages, oral traditions, philosophies, writing systems, and literatures, and to designate and retain our own names for communities, places, and persons. 2. States shall take effective measures to ensure that this right is protected and also to ensure that we, the indigenous people, can understand and be understood in political, legal, and administrative proceedings where necessary through the provision of interpretation by other appropriate means. All right? 14. 1. We, the indigenous people, have the right to establish and control our educational system and institutions, provided education in our own language in a manner appropriate to our cultural methods of teaching and learning. 2. We, the indigenous individuals, particularly children, have the right to all levels and forms of education of the state without discrimination. 3. States shall, in conjunction with we, the indigenous peoples, take effective measures in order for we, the indigenous individuals, particularly children, including those living outside their communities, to have access, when possible, to an education in our own culture and provided in our own language. 15. All right. And like I said, those are all documents that you could use together with other documents, but it's important to know. Like I said, I've used these declarations alone and I've been successful in courts. Okay. So I guess everybody have different experiences. Okay. 16, Article 16. We, the indigenous people, have the right to establish our own media in our own languages and to have access in all forms of non-indigenous media without discrimination. 2. States shall take effective measures to ensure that state-owned media duly reflect indigenous cultural diversity. States without prejudice to ensuring full freedom of expression should encourage privately owned media to adequately reflect we indigenous people's culture and cultural diversity. 17. 1. We the indigenous individuals and peoples have the right to enjoy fully all rights established under applicable international and domestic labor law. 2. States shall, in consultation and cooperation with we the indigenous peoples, take specific measures to protect our indigenous children from economic exploitation and from performing any work that is likely to be hazardous or to interfere with the child's education or to be harmful to the child's health or physical, mental, spiritual, moral, or social development, taking into account their special vulnerability and the importance of education for empowerment. All right. Well, to answer your question, Undrip and Adrip, they're essentially saying the same thing. It's just that Adrip, which is the American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, was created particularly just for Indigenous Americans, all right? Where Undrip applies to all Indigenous peoples around the world, all right? Cool. 3, we the indigenous individuals have the right not to be subjected to any discriminatory conditions of labor and inter-alia employment or salary. 18, We, the indigenous people, have the right to participate in decision-making in matters which would affect our rights through representatives chosen by ourselves, okay, in accordance with our own procedures, as well as to maintain and develop our own indigenous decision-making institutions. All right. So when these people are making decisions that's affecting our lives, we, as a distinct people, we need to be at the table. Okay, we have to have a say. Article 19. All right, like I told y'all before, the power is in the people. So whether this may be binding or not, we have to make sure it's binding because we are the people and we have the power. Okay, period. Article 19. States shall consult and cooperate in good faith with the indigenous peoples concerned through our own representative institutions in order to obtain our free, prior, and informed consent before adopting and implementing legislative or administrative measures that may affect us. All right. So once again, states, okay, states have a right, okay, to consult and work together with us. All right, through our own representatives. All right, and our institutions in order to obtain free and prior, meaning that to get our permission. All right, and our consent before adopting or implementing any legislative or administrative measures that's going to affect us. All right, and that's just real facts. You feel me? Okay. Article 20. We, the indigenous peoples, have the right to maintain and develop our political, economic, and social systems or institutions to be secure in enjoyment of our own means of sustenance and development, and to engage freely in all our traditional and other economic activities. 2. We, the indigenous peoples, all right, indigenous peoples deprived of their means of sustenance and development are entitled to just and fair redress. All right, if they're preventing us or they're depriving us of means and ways to sustain our development or our livelihood, okay, we are entitled to just and fair redress. Okay, Article 21. We, the indigenous people, have the right without discrimination to improvement of our economic and social conditions, including inter alia, which means and others, in the areas of education, employment, vocational training and retraining, housing, sanitation, health, and social security. 2. States shall take effective measures and, where appropriate, special measures to ensure continuing improvement of their economic and social conditions. Particular attention shall be paid to the rights and special needs of indigenous elders, women, youth, children, and persons with disabilities. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I have actually read the articles up to Article 21. I'm going to read up to 25. There are actually about, I think, 42 of them. All right. I have the link below. So now you could actually take your time and go read the declarations, have a better understanding of the declarations, and know how to apply them. Okay. So I'm going to read up to 25, and then I'm going to go to House of Congress Resolution 331. Okay. Okay. Article 22, 1. Particular attention shall be paid to the rights and special needs of indigenous elders, women, youth, children, and persons with disabilities in the implementation of this declaration. 2. States shall take measures in conjunction with indigenous peoples to ensure that all indigenous women and children enjoy the full protection and guarantees against all forms of violence and discrimination. Article 3. We, the indigenous people, have the right to determine and develop priorities and strategies for exercising our right to development. In particular, we indigenous people have the right to be actively involved in developing and determining health, housing, and other economic and social programs affecting us, and as far as possible to administer such programs through our own institutions. 24. 1. We, the indigenous people, have the right to our traditional medicines. Here you go. Our traditional medicines. So therefore, stop calling the herbs marijuana. Marijuana is a patent word. Okay? And you do not have a license or permission to smoke their herb, to smoke their marijuana without their permission. All right? But traditional herbs is indigenous to the Americas. All right? And you have a right to partake if you so choose. All right? And to maintain our health practices, including the conservation of our vital medicinal plants, okay, animals and minerals. We, the indigenous individuals, also have the right to access without any discrimination to all social and health services. Number 2, we, the indigenous individuals, have an equal right to the enjoyment of the highest attainable standard of physical and mental health. States shall take the necessary steps with a view to achieving progressively the full realization of this right. '25. We, the indigenous peoples, have the right to maintain and strengthen our distinctive spiritual relationship with our traditionally owned or otherwise occupied and used lands, territories, waters, and coastal seas and other resources, and to uphold our responsibilities to future generations in this regard. Okay? Now I'm going to just do 26 real quick because it's important that we get that. I'm going to do Article 1, 26. We, the indigenous people, have a right to what? Lands, territories, and resources which we have traditionally owned, occupied, or what? Otherwise used or acquired. Okay? So even if you acquire some land, you still have that right. Okay? As indigenous peoples, we have that right. Okay? Let us proceed. So at this point, brothers and sisters, what I'm going to do is this, right? Like I said, the link for Undrip is below, okay, this video. So I'm going to stop on Article 26. You guys could actually go through the entire thing again, all right? Read it and get familiar with it. Now I'm going to go and we're going to go over House Resolution 331, all right? I have gone through these things before, but I can't find the video, so I'm going to go over it again just to refresh that in your mind, okay? House of Congress Resolution 331 that came out in 1988, and how ironic is that what you would call it, you know, in 1988 they put Jesse Jackson on the scene to call us African American, but yet still House of Congress Resolution 331 came out. All right, so that's not a coincidence. All right. All right, so here we go. House of Congress Resolution 331. All right. Received and referred to the Select Committee on Indian Affairs, October 21st, Legislative Day, October 18th, 1988. Committee discharged. All right, like I said, that was the same year that they put Jesse Jackson on the scene to call us African American. Concurrent resolution. All right. Now, to acknowledge the contribution of the Iroquois Confederacy of Nations to the development of the United States Constitution, and to reaffirm the continuing government-to-government relationship between Indian tribes and the United States, established in the Constitution. I'm going to read that again. So how there is no way these people could accuse us, all right, of being anti-government when we are seeking, okay, to have a government-to-government relationship with them, because that's what it was meant to be. That's how it was supposed to be. That's what those treaties were for. Okay? I mean, like I said, family, you know, don't get confused, all right? We can use Undrip and H.CON.RES, okay? But of course, you know, we have to use those things with other documents as well. All right. We have to look. I'm going over House Resolution 331. Now you have Undrip, you have H.CON.RES, you have House Resolution 331, you have human rights, you know, human rights, international human rights laws. All those things together is effective. All right. So at the end of the day, it's good to know because, like I said, I have used Undrip alone in court, and I have won. Okay, so I guess everybody have a different experience. All right, so learn the information. All right, knowledge is power. Okay, learn the information. All right, I'm going to read that again. Concurrent resolution to acknowledge the contribution of the Iroquois Confederacy. If you don't know what the Iroquois Confederacy is, then go look it up. Okay, nations to the development of the United States Constitution because they adopted the Constitution that we had. All right, the United States adopted the Constitution that we had to reaffirm the continuing what? Continuing government to government relationship. Okay, continuing government to government relationship. All right, that's what they're supposed to honor. A government to government relationship between Indian tribes and the United States established in the Constitution. Whereas the original framers of the Constitution, including most notably George Washington and Benjamin Franklin, are known to have greatly admired the concepts of the Six Nations of the Iroquois Confederacy. Whereas the confederation of the original 13 colonies into one republic was influenced by the political system developed by what? The Iroquois Confederacy, as were many of the democratic principles which were incorporated into the Constitution itself. So what are they telling you? They are telling you that they modeled their Constitution from our political system, okay? And whereas since the formation of the United States, the Congress has recognized the sovereign status of what? Indian tribes. The sovereign status of Indian tribes. So how is that when we identify as who we are, Indigenous, American Aboriginals, American Indians, and then here you are saying that we are sovereign, how is that you are confusing it with sovereign citizens? We never claimed to be sovereign citizens, but however, we are all sovereign because the Creator made me sovereign on this land. Okay? Whereas, since the formation of the United States, which is in 1776, the Congress has recognized the sovereign status of Indian tribes and has, through the exercise of powers reserved to the federal government in the Commerce Clause of the Constitution, Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, dealt with Indian tribes on a government-to-government basis and has, through the Treaty Clause, Article 2, Section 2, Clause 2, entered into 370 treaties with Indian tribal nations. Whereas from the first treaty entered into with an Indian nation, the treaty with the Delaware Indians of September 17th, 1778, the Congress has assumed a trust responsibility, an obligation to Indian tribes and their members. It's an obligation, okay? You feel me? Whereas this trust responsibility calls for Congress to exercise the utmost good faith in dealing with Indians as provided for in the Northwest Ordinance of 1787, 1 Stat 50. So y'all need to get familiar with this resolution, okay? Whereas the judicial system of the United States has consistently recognized and reaffirmed this special relationship. Now there be it, meaning that it's the law. 1, resolved by the House of Representatives, the Senate concurring that the Congress, on the occasion of the 200th anniversary of signing the United States Constitution, acknowledge the contribution made by the Iroquois Confederacy and other Indian nations to the formation and development of what? The United States. All right? So our ancestors helped form in the development and the formation of the United States. And the deal was you only have a 10-mile radius, okay? A 10-mile radius, which is the District of Columbia, to do commerce. But again, colonization. Now the entire so-called 48 states is considered the United States, but that wasn't the case, and it's still not the case. Okay, it's only the case in theory, but on paper, in the treaties, it's only within a 10-mile radius. Okay. Now, oh, absolutely. I mean, I agree. We are not sovereign citizens. All right. Okay. We are not sovereign citizens. Well, at least I'm not a sovereign citizen. I could speak for myself. All right. However, I am sovereign to this land. All right. Now, acknowledge the contribution made by the Iroquois Confederacy and other Indian nations to the formation and development of the United States. 2. The Congress also hereby reaffirms the constitutionally recognized what? Again, government-to-government relationship with Indian tribes, which has been what? The cornerstone of this nation's official Indian policy. They have to deal with us from a government-to-government basis. Okay? 3. The Congress specifically acknowledges and reaffirms the trust, responsibility, and obligation of the United States. It's an obligation. It is not if you want to. No, it's an obligation. The United States has an obligation to what? Indian tribes, including Alaska Natives, for our preservation, protection, enhancement, including the provision of health, education, social and economic assistance programs as necessary, and including the duty to assist tribes in our performance of governmental responsibility to provide for the social and economic well-being of our members and to preserve tribal cultural identity and heritage. Okay? Black is not our cultural identity. African American is not our cultural identity. They have an obligation to us. Okay? You feel me? 4, the Congress the Congress also acknowledges the need to exercise the utmost good faith in upholding its treaties with the various tribes as the tribe what? The tribes understood them to be, and the duty of a great nation to uphold its legal and moral obligations for the benefit of all of its citizens, so that they and their posterity, meaning that everyone who comes after, may also continue to enjoy the rights they have enshrined in the United States Constitution for time immemorial. Okay? Eternity, perpetual. Passed the House of Representatives, October 4th, 1988. All right? So this concludes House of Congress Resolution 331. All right, let us get back to the screen here. Okay, where we at? Okay. Now, like I was saying earlier, okay, I actually stopped on Undrip. I stopped on Article 26. So the link is below. You could go study Undrip, study the articles. Also, I just went through House of Congress Resolution 331. All right. All those documents together with other documents, okay, they are very powerful. Okay, they are very powerful. So like I'm going to say it again. Whether you think Undrip is legally binding or not, I have used it in court and I've been very successful. Okay, it's how you articulate yourself, and when you stand on the principles of your culture and who you are, then it to me, it is legally binding. Okay? Because for one, I am a man made in the likeness and image of the creator, of my creator. All right? And no man or woman has a right to control my life. Period. Okay? So even if I were just to stand on the fact that I'm a man that was made in the likeness and image of the creator, and no one has a right to violate my free will, that alone in itself is enough. Okay? That alone in itself is enough. You feel me? Okay? So the truth of the matter is, all those, we come together, you bring it together, and you use them to your advantage. I promise you, okay? It makes a difference. All right? It makes a difference. So don't allow anyone to deter you. Yes, it's important to learn more, study more, get more information. But Undrip does work. H.CON.RES does work. House Resolution 331 does work because I've used it and I've been very successful. And I could only speak on my experience. Okay? So, with that being said, it's important to know who you are. Okay? And here's another thing. I personally think as a collective, we have more strength. All right? We need to, and I'm going to keep repeating myself, we need to start learning to love each other again. Okay? We need to start learning to respect each other again. We need to learn to start coming together and start supporting each other again. All right? How is that? You know, you could go buy a Versace bag, okay, or Versace belts and shoes and clothes for $300, $400, $500 a pop. Okay, you go support the Asian man, you go support the Arab, but here you have a brother or a sister who may have a clothing line or have some type of business, and then they might have an item for like $30 or $35, and all of a sudden you want to hook up. Oh man, that's a little steep. You see, it's the mindset of our people. It's the mindset, because when it comes to spending that $300-400 on a Gucci or Versace, right? You don't have a problem with that. But when it comes to supporting your own, it's that mental block. All right. So that's why I tell people the elevation of the mind. That's where you got to free yourself first. You see what I'm saying? I heard a brother speak that, and it's something that I've said in the past, but I'm going to reiterate it again because I heard it today. I forgot the name of the brother, but he said it on a video. All right. The revolution is not a physical revolution. All right. The revolution is actually taking place, but it's going to be a mental revolution. And that's why they said that it's not going to be televised, because it is all mental. It is spiritual. Okay. Going in the streets and fighting and breaking things. And you know, it can't be something physical. Okay. It cannot be something physical, because we will not win this physical fight. But it has to be mental. You got to free your mind from the chains, the mental chains. That's what's killing our people right now. The miseducation, the religious dogmas. Okay? It's hurting us. So we got a lot of work to do, man. We got a lot of work to do. And as you guys know, my email is always in the link below. Anybody who's willing to link up and build, man, I'm always for that, okay? I love dealing with positive energy, okay? I love dealing with people who are seeking true knowledge. I love dealing with people who are walking in truth. I love dealing with people that have no selfish motives. You feel what I'm saying? I love dealing with people that is not materialistic, because they're easily sold or bought, all right? So I don't like dealing with people like that. You feel me? So like I say, Max said, I'm sad to say, but it's true. I've called to my people and have been making mental music and media for more than a decade, and I'm sorry to say that the support has mainly been from outside. I feel you. I feel you. You know, because our people, man, not everybody, right? I gotta say that we are making some strides. Okay, we are making some strides, but we need to support more positive music. We need to support more brothers and sisters who don't have these big record deals. We gotta support them. You know, we gotta go back to the concept of when CDs used to be sold in the back of cars. You feel me? People don't do CDs no more, but they have their links to, you know, their music. Support it. You know what I'm saying? Support it. Collectively, family, we are strong. Collectively, we are unbreakable. It's only the divide and conquer that's tearing us apart right now. All right? The hate that we have for each other. And I'm not saying that everybody feels that way. I would never say that, because I know there are a lot of people who are actually coming together and building each other. I know it, because I'm part of a community. I'm part of a group that we are supporting each other. We are building each other. You know what I mean? We are loving each other. You feel me? And I suggest you do the same thing in your community, wherever you at. I know a lot of people say, well, Chief, you know what, man, I can't find anybody in my neighborhood. Well, you know, start with your children, okay? Start with one other person. Trust me, man, there got to be somebody where you're at that's on the same mental frequency as you are. I don't care if you have to drive or travel 45 minutes to go link with them. I don't care if you have to travel an hour to go link with them. Come together, build. That's what we got to do. Absolutely. Okay? And let us not allow the fiat currency, okay, to turn us against each other. Brothers and sisters, we got a bigger fish to fry. Okay? We got a bigger catch than the fiat currency. The fiat currency is not the real wealth. Okay? Our land is the real wealth. Our nationality, our identity is more important than that worthless piece of fiat currency we teach our children. That's money. That's not money. Okay? Because once we have identified as who we truly are, then we get to put in the claims to reclaim what's ours. We have an entire continent to reclaim. We over here chasing paper. We over here chasing blocks. We over here fighting each other over turfs, when we have an entire continent that's ours. Huh? We have the most resourceful land on the planet. Don't let nobody fool you. Okay? Because every other country across the seas of the Americas, they built their structures, they built their civilization on the back of everything in America. All right? Don't let them fool you. It's not the other way around. Okay? It was our corn. It was our sugar cane. All right? It was our potatoes that built Europe. You feel me? That built Europe. And at that time, it wasn't the Caucasians that was running Europe. It was the Moors. Okay? It was the Moors. So it was our resources that was used to build Europe. So we live on the most fertile part of Mother Earth. Okay? And that's a fact. That's a fact. You feel me? So, brothers and sisters, don't let anybody fool you, man, with the false narratives. Okay? We give the world civilization. That's right. So, once again, I just like to come and, drop information for y'all, man. Drop some, that's what I love to do, share information. Don't let them don't allow them to call us, terrorists, and, we are anti-government because we're standing up and saying that we're indigenous, because we are. We know we are the original people. We know this. But once again, peace, greetings to talk to this one. Peace and love, my brother. All right. So at the end of the day, don't let them deter us, man. Don't let them deter us. We got to continue to stand up as a unit. That's what it takes. I am tired of our people chasing this illusion. And you have all these celebrities pushing the materialistic world. That's not what's going to take us there. Because I have never seen anybody transition and take anything else with them except their relationships, that energy, okay, their experiences. That's all we're going to take. So we have to stop chasing the materialistic world. Stop chasing materialism. That's what's killing us right now. Okay? These celebrities are part of the agenda. They are part of the agenda. We are the people in the streets, the grassroots movements. We need to stand up, come together, because we, the people, have the power, and they know this. All right? They know this. So what we need to do is have our own indigenous representatives. When they're making these legislative laws, make sure that we have our own representatives there, okay, so that they don't pass laws that's going to be a detriment to indigenous people. Okay, let us veto all these legislative laws or codes that they are passing that's affecting our children, that's affecting our community, that's bringing poisonous foods in our neighborhoods, that's putting our children in jail. Okay? All these chemtrails every single day. That is not natural. That's not normal. Okay? All these homosexual agendas that's being taught in school. Nobody's talking about it because all of a sudden it's normal. It's natural. Come on. It's not. Everybody got more rights than us. Why is that? Why is that? Is it because we're not coming together? Or is it because, you know, it is a plot, okay? It is a conspiracy against the so-called black man and woman in the Americas, particularly in the United States. It's a conspiracy against us. Because, and I'm going to tell you why I believe. In fact, you know what? Let me not say I believe, because I don't like to deal with beliefs. I'm going to tell you how I know it's a conspiracy. Because every other ethnic group comes into the United States and they are successful. They come, they're able to go to banks and do what? Get loans to open up businesses. Okay? They come, they're able to get grants. You have a lot of Jewish people who come here. They don't even have green cards. They don't even have citizenships, but yet still they have trust that's set up for them. They get grants. Okay? And they're encouraged to have children. Okay? Their women have what? 5, 6, 7 children per household. And what they do, the men and women, they live separately so that the women could get the benefits. Okay? So you see what's going on? Peep the game. Peep the game. You feel me? But we have to realize what's going on. Okay? They're teaching our women that you don't need your man. Oh, I don't need a man. So they're teaching them what? Women's lib. Women's lib wasn't part of our culture because we always honored our women. The truth of the matter is Caucasian men were teaching or treating their women like dogs. And that's a fact. Okay? That is a historical fact. Caucasian men were treating their women like dogs. And it's only when their women came here, okay, and they were slaves in Indian country, they were treated like human beings. And that's why they were so amped to mess with this so-called black man, because the so-called black man was treating them like they were actually human beings when their men were treating them like dogs. Because our women, were being put on a pedestal. As a matter of fact, when we had African slaves, even when we had Caucasian slaves, guess what? Guess who owned the slaves? The women owned the slaves, because the women were the ones, the clan mothers owned the slaves. Okay? It wasn't the men, it was the women, because everything belonged to the women. You feel me? Wealth was passed on through the woman. Okay? That's a fact. So therefore, the slaves that came, the slaves that we had, all right, it belonged to our women. Our women run things. So there was never a time when our women wasn't independent, but our women got caught up and tricked, okay, into the mindset of falling into a trap, thinking that the Caucasian woman was fighting for rights with her. No, the Caucasian woman was fighting for her rights, for her rights. Our women already had rights. Our women were already dealing in an independent capacity, not meaning that they didn't need the men. That's not what it meant. It meant that they had a voice, okay? Because no tribe could go to war. No chief went to war without consulting the clan mothers, okay? No chief was picked to be the leader of a tribe without the clan mother doing that. Absolutely, the women owned the slaves because they ran things, okay? And that's a fact. And it's not because they controlled us. That's not what it means. You see, people tend to get the matriarchal system misconstrued, okay? All right, that's what they do. And you have a lot of disgruntled women, a lot of mental dis-ease women talking about, I'm a matriarch, and thinking it's to abuse the brothers. No, that's not what it meant. It just meant that we had a high regards for our women, okay? Because we know for a fact when the baby come out, we have proof that it comes out of the woman. That's a fact. But the father, a lot of times, was always questionable. So we know for a fact that the child came from the woman. So we honored our women. And our women had this ability. They had a skill to see things. They were the oracles. Okay? They were the oracles. And the one would be the chief that they chose. The women picked the chiefs. So when the slaves were captured, they brought it to the women, and the women were the owners of the slaves. So these Caucasian women were subjects of the so-called black woman. But you see, they're not going to teach the history in its proper context. Okay? And our women are so lost these days, they don't know who they are. So now they are trying to be like the Caucasian woman. When the truth of the matter is, the Caucasian woman was dying to be you. Okay? They're still dying to be you today, but you don't know that. So you're not proud to be who you are. You're ashamed of your complexion. You're ashamed of your hair. When the truth of the matter is, they were trying to be like you. When the truth of the matter is, they wanted the freedom that you had. When the truth of the matter is, they wanted the voice that you had, because you were the one making the decisions. We had you on a pedestal, okay? We gave up our life for you. But you allowed the system to turn you against us, okay? That's what you did. And you are still doing it today. Always so busy and anxious to call a brother a nigger. I don't need that nigger. Trust me, without us, you will fall. And without you, we will fall. That's how the Most High meant for it to be, okay, as a unit. The Trinity, okay? The Trinity is a trust. And a trust has three components, okay? A trust has a trustor, which is the grantor, the trustee, and the beneficiary. It is the same thing with the Trinity, the Father, Mother, and Child. Okay? The Father, Mother, and Child. That is a trust. You feel me? So at the ending of the day, you have to know the game that was played on us. All right? So let me break it down to you. The Trinity, Father, Mother, and Child. It wasn't father, son, and ghost. They made the mother a ghost because they knew in our culture, all right, the mother was the most prevalent. Okay? But it's actually a trust. So so this is the breakdown. The father is the grantor. Okay? The grantor. What he does, he grants the woman his sperm. The woman is the trustee. All right? He grants the woman the sperm. Okay, she opens up. That's okay. She's the trustee. He trusts her with his seed, his sperm. Okay? Then she bears a child that becomes the beneficiary. So that's a trust. So as you could see, we are the Trinity. So our women, okay, need to go back and study our culture. All right? That conversation about you don't need a man, that's not part of our culture. Okay? That's not part of our culture. Period. Nowadays, you need more women than you need more men. That's not part of our culture. Okay? And our women are actually promoting homosexual behaviors and supporting that. That's not part of our culture. Okay? That's a form of genocide. And I will do a video and break that down. I know a lot of y'all are not going to like it because it has become a norm right now to turn our men into little girls. Okay? But it's an agenda. So at the ending of the day, we got a lot of work to do. Okay? We got a lot of work to do, man. We got a lot of work to do. And I'm telling people like this. I'm not an advocate for violence, but I'm an advocate for self-defense. Okay? There's no one has the right to abuse us the way that they're abusing us and think that there's no repercussions. No. And then when you stand up for yourself and to defend yourself, they want to call you a terrorist. Well, let me ask you, Mr. So-called, okay, well, not so-called, you are the colonizer. Let me ask you a question. Who came into whose land? Who came into whose land? Your sheep was wrecked. You were hungry. You were cold. You came here in the dead of winter in November, okay? Either as pilgrims or Puritans. You were hungry. Your ship wrecked. We took you in. We clothed you. We kept you warm. We taught you how to eat. And that's the repayment that we get. And when we are standing up to reclaim who we are, okay, proclaim who we are, then all of a sudden it's a problem. We are terrorists. Huh? Do you think that's going to sit well with the universal intelligence? Do you think that's going to sit well with our ancestors? Huh? Do you think that's going to sit well with the universe? No, because it's not natural. It's not natural. Period. It's not. So it's just a matter of time before all the young warriors in the street learn that they are not black, they are not African, and this is their home. It's just a matter of time. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. So why don't y'all just say, you know what, man? Let bygones be bygones. You feel me? We had a history. Yes. So-called black people enslaved us first. I'm going to admit it. The Africans enslaved y'all first. It wasn't us. And they brought y'all here. And yes, some of our ancestors took part in that slavery as well. I think you got your revenge. I mean, come on, 400 years, I think you have gotten your revenge, right? So let us just say, you know what, let us start a clean slate, okay? We did you, you did us. Can we just come to the table, government to government, and say, how are we gonna move forward? All right, we all here now, we're gonna respect y'all, y'all respect us, you do you, let us do us. And that's it. Government to government relationship. That's all we are saying. Okay? That's all we are saying. We don't want to be abused anymore. Okay? We don't want our rights infringed upon anymore. Okay? We don't want to walk on our indigenous land our ancestral land being nationless. We don't want that anymore. You feel me? So that's all we are saying. We are not promoting violence. That's not what we are promoting. We are promoting self-determination, self-governance. Okay? You are not above us. Period. When you come into someone's home, you're supposed to respect them. And it's about time y'all start respecting us. It's that simple. So don't think you're going to shut us up because you call us terrorists or you call us anti-government. No, we are not anti-government. As a matter of fact, we are asking and we are promoting, okay, a government-to-government relationship. So how can we be anti-government? That's an oxymoron. Okay? So brothers and sisters, we got work to do. Okay? We got work to do. So once again, man, you know, I just wanted to come here and just drop some information for y'all. And like I told y'all before, all right, you could use those declarations, okay, because I've used them before and they worked quite well, all right? But with a combination of treaties and declarations plus, let me tell you something, all right? Here's an authority that no man could take away from you. The fact that you were born, okay, let me rephrase that. The fact that you were created in the likeness and image of the Most High, okay, and the Most High gave you unalienable rights and nobody could take that away from you, okay, because you see, when you go into their courts and you go in as a man or a woman, they have no authority over you. They have to put you in a category for them to put you in their jurisdiction. They don't like it when we speak the truth. But I'm here to speak the truth. I'm here to teach my people because I'm tired of seeing my people abused, man. All right? I'm tired of that. I mean, how is that every other culture come into our home? Every other ethnic group come into our home and be successful. They get to live the American dream. But the original American keep living the nightmare day after day, month after month, week after week, year after year, decade after decade, century after century. At what point is it enough enough? You feel me? All right, greetings, Empress. You know what I mean? So in conclusion, all right, I'm going to ask you guys to do yourself a favor, all right? Start loving yourself again, okay? Start loving yourself again. A lot of us are suffering from mental disease. We have to learn to heal ourselves first because you see, hurt people. And that's how I know our people are still hurting because they're continuously hurting each other. All right? You feel me? And that's the fact. So take some time to learn to heal yourself. Eat more organic foods. You feel me? Get more into your meditation. All right? Our women, you gotta start loving your men again. All right? The Caucasian men don't love you, believe me. And anybody y'all could give me flack for this if you want. They cannot love you the way we love you. You feel me? They cannot love you the way we love you because you were made for us, not for them. So that love could never be organic. Never be organic. It could be de facto love. It could be love on the color of love, but it's not organic love. It's not spiritual. It is only physical. And that's a fact. It's a fact. Vice versa. Okay? No other woman could love the Aboriginal man like an Aboriginal woman. Trust me. Everything else is physical. It is not spiritual. And I stand on that. And I'm not preaching hate. No, I'm preaching preservation of my race. That's what I'm preaching. They want to make us extinct. They can't do that. How are you going to make us extinct? So you have to play all these paper games and this paper genocide and change our identity, wipe us out of history on paper. That's how you made us extinct. But we're still here. We ain't going nowhere. So it behooves you to work with us. Work with us. Because I will go down on my knees and ask my ancestors to come and just, man, let me tell you something, man. They don't want me to call the ancestors on some real gangster shit, for real. You feel me? Because we're the original. We cannot be destroyed. We can only be transformed. You feel me? So all I'm just saying, man, you know what? Just respect us, man. That's it. Respect us. What is so hard? Like, you people are so spiritually disconnected that you cannot see that it actually works more in your benefit to allow and restore the original people. Come on, man. What is so hard about that? So sisters, you got work to do. Brothers, we got work to do. Okay? We got to learn to love each other again, man. All right? We got to learn to love each other again. And once again, in conclusion, stop identifying yourselves as Black, African American. All right? We are the people. And if you cannot identify yourself from your tribe or your clan that you actually came from, then just identify yourself as the people. Okay? Because the people wrote the Constitution and the people have the utmost authority. Okay? So either way, even if I wasn't using any type of declaration or any type of treaty, just as a man that was made in the likeness and image of my creator, they have no authority over me. Period. Okay? So it's time that we start operating a little bit different. Our mindset have to change. All right? That mental slavery, we got to let it go, man. Okay? We got to let it go. All right? So with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in, and I just want to give thanks to of course, each and every one of you on the feed, but I want to particularly I want to thank H.CON.RES for just sharing that video on his platform and breaking it down, and just sharing our story, man. You know what I mean? And that's what we got to do, share our story, because his story is not our story. Although we could find some of our story in his story, but we got to know. You feel me? We got to know. So what we have to do now, we have to call on our ancestors. All right? I'm not into calling all these spooks, all right, that these people keep calling God and all that stuff. Nah, I know my ancestors existed because you know why? I have a mother. She has a mother. She has a mother. She has a mother. She has a mother that goes back into time immemorial. My father got a father and mother. They got fathers and mothers. So I know that connection is there. So I could call on my ancestors, okay? But I'm not going to call on no spook that they teach me in their Bible. I'm not going to call on no spook, period. You feel me? Because that is the book that helped enslave my ancestors. So when y'all want to come with y'all religion, man, y'all could keep that, man. Keep that. You know what religion I want? I want the religion of the animals. I want the religion of the trees. That's what I want. You know what I mean? Yes, indeed, H.CON.RES, man. I'm putting in that work in the streets for real. This is just the beginning, bro. We got so much, that's coming right now. You know what I mean? So like I told you, I don't know where you at, but my email is in the link below, bro. Send me an email. I'll give you my number so we could build, if you're in the area or whatever, because we got some real serious things going on. You feel me? Because it's our time. And like I said, they can't stop it. So again, it would be in their best interest to work with us opposed to fighting against us. Because for one, I'm gonna tell you what we have in our corner and in our favor. For one, we have the Great Spirit, on our side. All right. Some may say Most High. Some may say God. Some may call it whatever you want. I say the Great Spirit because that's what my ancestors identified the intelligence as. So we got the Great Spirit on our side, right? We got our ancestors on our side. We got Mother Earth on our side. We got nature on our side, which is Mother Earth as well. And we got the universe on our side. All right. And we got each other. For those of us who know who we are and we want to come our energy, we got that as well. So there's no way they could defeat us. So that's why I keep telling y'all, let us not turn this into a physical thing. Let us step back more into a spiritual mindset. Okay. And call on our ancestors. Call on them. Cry out to them. Go down on your knees and beg. Okay. Calling out to your ancestors is not worshiping false idols like they taught you to. Okay. They told you it was pagan. They took that away from us, but they're using all our sciences. They're using all our rituals against us. You feel me? So it is time for the spiritual warriors to rise. This is our time, man. It's our time. And like I said, my email is in the link below. Anybody who will tell you, whenever they reach out to Chief Kalinago, he always reach out. It might take me a day, it might take me 2 days, it might take me a week because of all these emails, and I return emails on a first come basis. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that's what I do. But I always get back to everybody. So anybody who's willing to build information, I love to share the knowledge. You know, there are a couple of things that we're working on, and we cannot put everything out there, okay, on YouTube or Facebook, even if they're watching anyway. But at least within a private setting, whether it may be email or a phone conversation, it's a private conversation, and they cannot use that against us. You feel me? So at the end of the day, they're watching. They're watching. They're watching each and every one of us. Believe me. Anybody who's on here teaching our people about who they are, they're going to look at you as an enemy. You feel me? They're going to say you're a terrorist. They're going to say you're anti-government. Why? Because you're identifying as who your ancestors were. So make sure, all right, you continue to step forward, okay? Stay focused. Don't get into the distractions. Stop chasing these materialistic things, okay? The true wealth is us loving each other again. The true wealth is us picking up each other again. The true wealth is us respecting our women again. The true wealth is our women respecting our men again. The true wealth is when a sister don't have to take a brother to court for child support because he's taking care of his children. Or the true wealth is when a sister don't have to take a brother to court because she's not being vindictive. Okay? The true wealth is when a brother see a sister and call her an empress. Okay? Call her a deity. That's when we are making progress. Okay? Not when you have $2 million in your pocket. That's an illusion. That's not progress. However, I will say we could use the fiat currency, okay, to build our communities, to get certain things so that we could build our indigenous, okay, lives, or our indigenous businesses, our indigenous foundations. You feel me? So at the end of the day, we got work. We got work to do. I appreciate, and it's good, man. Like I said, I like I tell folks, man. You know, I just continue to do the work. That's it. You know, I tell people, people are gonna. Let me tell y'all something, all right? Before I get out of here, it doesn't matter what you do in life, okay? People are going to talk about you, whether you do good, whether you do bad. People are going to talk about you. So this is my advice to you: continue to do good. Just keep doing good. Okay, keep doing good. You know why? Just continue to let your light shine, because eventually that's what people are going to see. That's what people are going to see. It doesn't matter. Yes, they may hear something about you that might as well not be true. But because people are so prone to gossip, okay, people are so prone to being in such a low vibrational, space. They believe these things. But all you have to do is just continue, okay? Just continue, man, to let your light shine. All right? Send me an email, Matt. You know, my email is in the link below, man. Send me an email. You got good music, I'll promote it, fam. That's what I do. All right. I support our own. Anybody will tell you I support our own. That's what I do. Okay. So at the end of the day, I could only speak for myself. I walk in light. That's it. I walk in light. I don't know anything else. I don't lie. I don't steal. I don't cheat. That's not in my nature, because guess what? I move in the spirit. I'm not going to sacrifice my spiritual wealth for some physical gratification. I'm not going to do that. I could only speak for me. I don't know about y'all, but I could never do that. So I already know my ancestors got a place waiting for this God when he come home. You feel me? So I'm not afraid of anything or anybody. I don't care. I will go up in their faces and let them know this is who I am and this is my home. Okay? Period. And if that means you want to take me out because of who I am, that's fine. Go ahead. But at least I'm going to go a free man. And my ancestors are going to embrace this Aboriginal son when he come home. So I'm not afraid, man. I have no fear. You feel me? So all I'm saying all that to say, not to impress you, but to impress upon you that just be right. Right? Be right within yourself. Make sure your heart is as light as a feather. Always do the right thing. Okay? Period. Work on yourself. Build yourself. Love yourself. Then you will start loving others. Okay? Too many of us have chaos within our soul, within our spirit, within our temple. Okay? Because we eaten the foods that we eat. The poison, the liquor, the drugs, the alcohol, the friends we keep, the music we listen to, all that's energy that we are actually intaking. A lot of us need to detox. We need to come together and start telling each other our stories, our experiences. That's the process of healing. That's the process of remedy. Okay? That's the process of remedy, man. That's what we got to do. So at the end of the day, I'm making moves and I'm working on, you know, I know that the ancestors are going to make it happen, but I want to open up our first Indigenous community center. All right. I'm not asking anybody for nothing. I'm just going to do it myself and the people that's around me. We're going to work on that and we're going to do it ourselves. Okay. And we'll have a place where our children could come and learn the Indigenous culture. So that's one of my agendas. That's one of my missions. And I want to accomplish that within the next 2 to 3 months before the summer is out. I'm putting it out there in the universe. The ancestors are going to make it happen that we have our first Indigenous community center. Okay. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that in New Jersey. You feel me? I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen. All right. My email is in the link below this video. So if you scroll down in the link, you'll see it. So Max, just send me an email. And like I said, we'll build. And you got good music, brother. I'll promote it. As long as it's uplifting the people, I'll promote it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to promote anything that's disrespecting our women and telling our people to kill each other. I'm not going to promote that. But if you have good music that's uplifting our people, I will promote it. All right. And I also know how to do film production. You know, I don't have my equipment, but I know how to shoot and I know how to edit. I use Final Cut 10. So I know how to do all that. I know how to do documentaries. I know how to write screenplays. I know how to do all that. You feel what I'm saying? So we have a lot of talent among us. So it's time that we come together and do what we got to do. All right. So I respect and honor each and every one of you guys for taking the time, for being on this feed tonight, and just continue to grow. Okay, just continue to grow. One thing you will realize is that once you start putting in the work and moving in the right direction, things will happen because our path has already been set. All we're doing is just stepping into who we truly are. You feel me? So let us continue to move forward. Okay, be proud of who you are, not boastful, but be proud. Be proud that you are Indigenous. Be proud that you know that this is our home and we have something to fight for. Be proud that we know no matter what they do, they cannot get rid of us here because it's ours. Where are you going to send us? Where? You can't send us anywhere else because this is our home. All right? That's just what it is. You feel me? All right. So let us link up. Let us network. I got some opportunities coming to you guys, which I'm going to be talking to you guys about very soon. So, man, I'm excited. I'm excited. And I know I have seen the light at the end of the tunnel. You know why? Because I'm actually walking through that tunnel with my light. I'm always in the light. You're welcome, fam. So at the end of the day, if it's not about the people, I don't want to be a part of it. If it's not about uplifting the people, I don't want to be a part of it. Okay? I'm all about our people. I'm here walking on the shoulders of my ancestors, and I got to keep them proud. Okay? I got to keep them in honor. So with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. The declarations are in the link below. Just get familiar with them. Use them. Like I said, they work. They work for me. Okay? But at the end of the day, it's us coming together that's going to make that change. Now, before this, sometime in September, all right, you know how they be having this like Black Lives Matter rallies? That's ineffective. That's not going to work because Black people don't exist, at least not here in America, right? But with that being said, sometime in September, I want to see if we could get at least about 100,000 or 200,000 Aboriginal Americans, and we need to go to Washington, okay, and make our presence be felt. All right, we need to go make our presence be felt. Now, I'm going to tell you why, okay, why this is very significant. I'll tell you why. This is significant because yes, we have YouTube. We have YouTube, but there is no mainstream media that's talking about us being Aboriginals. Okay, there's no mainstream media showing a true depiction of the original American Indians. So I know if at least 100,000 of us in our feathers, okay, all Aboriginals, you feel me? All Aboriginals, we make a walk because our ancestors did it. Okay, they're not seeing Black people walking. They're seeing Aboriginals walking with our feathers, okay? Our feathers and our regalias. You feel me? I think that we will make such a historical presence, over 100,000 of us walking down Washington, D.C., Aboriginals, the original ones. So I want to plan that sometime in September. If you guys are for that, man, listen, my email is in the link below. I could start setting up the flyers, reach out to some people, and let's make this happen. And like I said, we're not asking for anything, and we are not begging for anything. What we are doing is we are making an international stance. We are telling the world that we are still here. We are telling the world that we never left. Okay? Silence is golden sometimes. We're not going to be shouting. We're not going to be screaming. We're not going to be hula and right now. We're not going to do none of that. We're just going to walk and stand in our feathers and meditate and call our ancestors down. That's what we're going to do. So I want to set that up in September, right before the children go back to school, or maybe right after they go back to school. Either way, we want to set that up. So if we're gonna, you guys want to be a part of that, send me an email, Attacktinus1, Chief Holiday, you know what I'm saying? Chief Warrior Talisa, all you guys, if you guys want to be a part of that, send me an email, you know what I'm saying? And let's make it happen. Okay, looking for at least 100 to 200,000 American Aboriginals, feathers, regalia, all that, letting them know that we are the original people and we're still here and we're gonna walk down Washington. I promise you, the world is gonna know who we are. The world is going to know who we are because we are not getting that mainstream media press. We're not getting that. You will see Native Americans getting it, but we're not getting it. Why is that? Okay? So at the end of the day, we need to do that. I think it is very, very important that we make that statement. Okay? And that, especially with that whole Real ID Act coming up, we need to make that statement. All right? Yes, in September. Let's see if we could hook that up in September. All right. So let's make it happen. All right. So just giving you guys some of the things that we have on the itinerary. We're gonna be starting a little program where I'm gonna be, teaching, you know, physical, you know what I'm saying, I'm training, you know, out here in Jersey, you know, because I do a lot of back and forth, but I'm going to be in Jersey for a little while. So we're going to be doing some physical training. We're going to be doing some martial arts, self-defense, you know what I'm saying? So for those of you who are actually in the Jersey area, man, listen, hit up my email. Let's link up and let's get this wave started. All right, let's get this wave started. You heard Bruce Lee say, right? Don't fight the water, become the water. So if, you know, let's become the water, and you know, anything that's in the path of water is going to get it out the way. All right. So it's all about energy. It's all about that positive vibes. And right now we are vibing on a high frequency. We're vibing on a positive energy. Let us just keep that up. Okay. And that's it. All right. Cool. Oh, I mean, come on, man. Listen, Haitians, Jamaicans, Trini, Guyanese, Dominicans, Antiguans, all that. Listen, man, all this is the Americas, man. That you're talking about Tainos and Arawaks, Caribs, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, man, we one people, okay? We are children of the American continent. We are all American Aboriginals. Back in the islands, they call us Amerindians. Here in the the United States, they say American Indian. But when I was going to school, they called us Amerindians. What they did was they just combined the two words and called us Amerindians. Okay? So we all the same. We all the same. All right? So let me just say sac passe, you know what I mean, to all my Haitian brethren, you know what I mean? Let me just say what, you know, what I go on to all, you know, my Jamaican crew, you know what I'm saying, all my Trini crew, yo, what the deal is, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, boy, that's how we do it. We rocking deep, you feel me? And let's make this thing happen. All right, let's make this thing happen, all right? So peace and love to all, and thank you to all you guys for tuning in. And like I said, you know, hit me up on on the email, fan, so we could build, and you know, I'll let you know some of the things that we're working on. All right, so I appreciate all the work that you guys are doing as well, and I appreciate your platforms as well. So give thanks and honor and praise to the ancestors and the Most High for allowing us to be able to come together. I mean, it's a joyous moment and it's a beautiful time to be alive. You feel me? It's over time, and let us not miss it. All right, let us not miss this. All right, I tell people like this, right? The train is moving. It doesn't matter if you're in the end of the train or the back of the train. Just be on the train. You feel me? Because we are moving. We are going to get to our destination. And there's nothing nobody could do to stop that. Okay? Let us be like the geese. Okay? We all fly together. You know, we fly together. When one is tired, fall back and let somebody else lead the way. At the end of the day, we all are leaders. At the end of the day, we are one people. Let's move together. All right? That's where we at with it. Peace and love. We'll talk soon. All right? I'm out. One. Don't forget to email me, fam. All right.